Hi, Divya. We've had a long talk now over weeks about a lot of things, and I think listeners, folks, go back and check out one of all Divya's many good advice. In this stressful world, we're constantly under influence of things that wants to change you. How can you keep your feet on the ground without getting stressed or stress out or burn out? What are your thoughts, Divya?
Great question, Barrett. Thank you for having me. And here's the thing, there's no way you can eliminate stress. And why do we even think that stress is a bad thing? So let's take a look at what is stress. So stress is something, where we feel overwhelmed, where we are not able to cope, and when we are out of our comfort zone, when we are maybe out of our optimal working time and optimal performance. So when I say that, let's take a look at the stress. That stress itself is not bad. It's our response to stress, to the stressors and triggers, that makes it bad. Because if you go and take a look at any, I do not recall exactly who had plotted it, but there is a performance plot. And in that, it shows very clearly that, up to a certain level, there is something called eustress. And eustress is good stress. So it's important to know, folks, there is positive stress, there is negative stress. So the positive stress, like some challenges that you love to overcome. So for example, let's just kind of even take people who are in sales and, there is stress that, they have to get so many sales closed every month and to get their commission. But it's just like seeing that thrill that, okay, you know what, I have got a good product, I've got a good service, and this is going to help my client and they're going to benefit from it. It gives them that thrill. So that is a positive stress. So for example, another thing, I would love to share from my experience. When I used to be in pharmaceuticals, and sometimes, what would happen is live human systems, live cells, things can go wrong anytime. And then there would be $1 million product sitting on the column, and we don't have anybody during the nighttime. And let's say, if you're leading the project, okay, that needs to get resolved. What are you going to do in it? And then you start thinking out of the box and you start contacting people. And of course, you have systems in place for that. And when you're able to resolve it, and when you're able to save that batch, and now what happens is, because you know that, there's so many patients waiting for that medication. So that kind of stress gets you going. And not only it gets you going, and it's just helps you grow tremendously. So the first thing I would recommend is identifying in your life what is positive, what gets you going, what gets you springing out of that bed. So that is your positive stress. And then negative stress, what's pulling you down? Are there people who you hang out with? And of course, sometimes there are people you just cannot choose who you work with. So, however, identifying, who are the people who are pulling you down and sending you in that negative spiral. So once you find out, okay, preparing ahead of time, bringing that awareness and mindfulness in the mix, how are you going to tackle them? And how are you going to respond to that stress? So just kind of like, talking about stress management is finding out what's positive stress, what's negative stress. And once you know about negative stress, finding the tips as to that can help you cope with stress, that can help you grow stronger and build that mental resiliency, folks. And if you're thinking that you'll never be stressed, hey, good for you, more power to you. But I know that it's a road of continuous improvement. So one of the techniques I'll quickly share is that, simple thing is that at the top of the hour, just take a 60-second break and take those breaths. And as you take the breath, take your mind away from everything. Even if you're sitting right there at your desk, you can close your eyes and just, feel that tension wherever you're feeling, kind of letting it go and just naturally breathing. I mean, that's a resource, you have it.
Yeah.
Fortunately, at all times, 24/7. And just decompress. every hour if you can. If not, then every 3 hours or every 5 hours. And you'll find that will be very, very helpful.
That's an amazing good tip. And I think that if you are stressed and if you're in doubt of anything, I think that that's a very useful tip to use. Thank you for sharing, Divya. I wish you a great day.
Well, thank you for having me, and take care, folks.